Welcome back. This is the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Woods. We are back from All-Star break. And who better to bring in the second half of the season, the old mate, Brandon Rahbar, Daily Thunder beat writer. How are you, man?
I am good, man. You know what? I've just let go of the idea of the tank, and I'm just going to enjoy all these wins and enjoy making the play-in tournament.
So I found a little snippet from our last podcast that I wanted to play for you and for our listeners. This
Hit me.
This is really something. Okay, here we go.
Presti's move is like 25 minutes a night for Moses Brown. Like 20 Poku, come on back for your we're gonna get you 30-35 minutes a night. I don't know that they have another move. Like,
how wild is that? That was our last podcast.
That is so perfect. I mean, that's what's so crazy about this season. You know, you joke like, oh, you know, just throw in some G League players, just, you know, get some guys off the street. That's the only way they'll be able to properly tank. And even in that scenario, that like worst case or best case scenario, they can't even lose games that way.
They were just hemorrhaging this lead tonight. And in the fourth quarter, they had dominated the entire game. Dallas is making a great run. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe Dallas pulls this off and gets it. They get they foul the Oklahoma City fouls a 3-point shooter. What a tribute. And then we got a couple missed free throws, and then here comes Poku with the dagger.
It's so perfect that that Poku was the one that hit that. I mean, of all the five guys on the court, the fact that Poku, you know, when everybody thought that there was a chance that the Mavs could come back and, oh, okay, well, this salvages the night for the tankers because it was kind of perfect. Shai was great, exciting, entertaining game as always. But hey, this might still be good for the draft picks because they're losing it late. That's perfect. Nope, Poku happened.
Shai's getting double teamed from the other free throw line, and the ball gets to Horford, and Horford finds the rook, and bang, like no doubt about it. It looked good the whole way. A little behind the curtain, my wife and I are watching the game, and she knows, like, you know, I'm kind of in, like, for a game like that, I'm in it to see Oklahoma City drop the game. And Poku's three goes in, and I look over at her, and she is laughing so hard. Not only is she laughing because now Oklahoma's, and she has watched me root for Oklahoma City, obviously, to win so hard over the years. And now, so this has been a very like Twilight Zone year for both of us. So she knows all about Poku and all that. So I look over at her, and she's just laughing. She's like, of all people, just like you said, of all people to hit that three, it's this 18-year-old kid who, I mean, 2 months ago, didn't look like he was anywhere close to ready to play in an NBA game. And I think Coach Dagnall said it best. Like, he looked like a guy who had played NBA games before. It probably sounded more like basic over the media call, but like reading that, it seemed so much more profound.
Right. No, I do think it is profound. I mean, when you look back on Poku's first half of the season, when he played with the Thunder, not in the G League, he really did look out of place. Like, it was noticeable. He looked like the guy when you're playing at the YMCA or the church league. As soon as he gets the ball, he just kind of panics. And so without really knowing what to do, he just chunks up a shot. Bad shot, good shot, usually bad shot. Didn't matter. It was just time to shoot it because you didn't really know what else to do with it. Kind of looked panicked, didn't look ready. I think the G League really helped him. It helped him kind of settle down, get more comfortable, get used to playing against good competition, against NBA speed. And now he's come back and, obviously 1 game sample size, but he looked like he belonged tonight. And you saw it in the G League. There were, you can't look at just the shooting percentage. Just look at how he's playing. And he looked really solid with the blue. And he looked really solid tonight. And it wasn't just him hitting shots. Of course, that helped, especially when he hit the shot that he hit at the end. But Daigneault also said, his defense, he knows where to be. He uses his length well. He play makes. He passes well. He's doing a lot of things well. It's just the shot hadn't been falling. When it falls like it did tonight, he looks really pretty solid. I'm not going to say it, but you could make an argument. Is he I'm hesitating saying this. I don't want to say better than Darius Bazley.
Oh, you took my question of the night.
Oh, sorry.
You preempted my question of the night. I'm going to have to think of a new one. I was going to ask you.
You can edit that out. You can just cut me off where I say.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. We were thinking the same thing. Like, he was getting rebounds and actually pushing the ball. And I got thinking, like, this is kind of what we've wanted to see from Bazley all year. And some nights we have seen it, but like, goodness, to see a 7-footer snag these boards and take off. And he was such a ball mover in the first quarter. Did you notice that playing with the starters? I felt like he was so much more at ease. He was out there with guys that were finding him in the ball was finding him in progression and not out of necessity at 35 feet from the basket. He was a part of a free-flowing offense, a 5-out offense, and it was really fun to watch him just catch the ball and move it and make quick decisions. He looked so much more, like you're saying, comfortable and at ease in what he was doing, and he seemed to have a clear role tonight that the team gave him. Like, go get boards, obviously play as hard a defense as you can, and move the ball. Unless you have an open shot, keep it moving. It's gonna find you again.
Yeah, absolutely. He just looked, going back to what Daigneault said, he looked like he'd played NBA games. He looked comfortable.
Yeah.
So he got so much criticism, and the whole time I'm thinking, this is the youngest player in the entire NBA. He's younger than most of the rookies that are going to be coming in 2021. He's younger than Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and he showed flashes. Even in the bad games, you saw the little bits of like, ooh, did you see that pass? Ooh, Did you see that move? Did you see the way he handled as a 7-footer? Oh, getting that rebound over this guy. Ooh, the nice block shot. Like, you saw moments, and, playing next to Shai, a lot of guys look better. Playing next to Horford, a lot of guys look better. Talent shines when it's next to other talent. And I think that, playing with really good players and with some comfortability, be more comfortable, I think it's helping Poku. He's going to be a player in this league. His demise was hilariously written, 5 games into his NBA career.
Yeah. I mean, to think that a 17, 18-year-old who's like 20 pounds, 30 pounds too light for the league he's in, for him not to immediately pop off the screen in his first couple weeks is a little premature.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had 2 blocks tonight. He and Horford both had 2 blocks. Oklahoma City always ranks pretty low, especially since Serge left. It feels like Oklahoma City's been towards the bottom of the league in block shots, but he had 2 blocks tonight. So did Horford. I thought they did a pretty good job. They dominated the paint scoring, especially in the first half.
Yeah, they did. This Mavs team without Luka and Porzingis, they've got some guys, but they really don't have much size when you take Porzingis out of the lineup. I mean, they've got some, Willie Cauley-Stein, Max. I always want to say Keebler, like Keebler Elves. Like, I look at his name, and that's all I want to say.
Kleba.
But they just he like lives in a little tree and makes cookies. I just think that, I scan the league for like potential Al Horford trade suitors, and the Mavs just make so much sense to me. This is kind of going on a different deal, but we're talking
Yeah,
about, rebounding and size and block shots, and we're playing against the Mavs. I just think that Luka, Porzingis, and Horford is a pretty good big three for right now, and it really would help the Mavs out, strengthen their biggest weakness. I think it'd be a really good move for them.
for sure. And I mean that if looking at the box score some more, like that game, Oklahoma City lost the second quarter by 1. They tied the third quarter and lost the fourth quarter by 7. I mean, that game was really won with a 35-19 first quarter. They came out so strong.
Yeah, apparently the Thunder are going to have to start with Moses Brown, and I mean, I
Don't
don't know.
say it because they'll do it and they'll win.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, isn't it the case? Whether you're happy about the Thunder winning or losing, at some point you got to admit that it's just getting hilarious that the Thunder are playing teams when they're resting guys like Luka and Porzingis. I mean, I think it's the first time all season that Luka's rested on a back-to-back.
And
You
another
almost
thing
wonder if it was just Mark Cuban trolling the Thunder.
another thing I mentioned in that last podcast after the Atlanta game was how excited I was for Luka versus Lou Dort tonight, given that we didn't get to see that in the first game, or in that game last a couple weeks ago. So kind of a bummer again to not see that matchup. Wanted to just throw out there that Oklahoma City started a guy that they traded up to get late in the first round, and a guy that they got in the second round.
Yeah.
3 months ago.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Theo yet, but Maladon was really good again tonight.
He was
been
phenomenal.
ever since he's become a starter, taking George Hill's place. He's looked really good. His 3-point shooting, once again, he hit a bunch of threes, but he just looks like he belongs. He's just so chill.
It's a great
and
word.
Maybe that's why this team is so good in the clutch, because you have guys like SGA and Theo who just look like nothing affects them at all. Like, it could be the biggest pressure moment, and they just look completely chill. So Theo, you got to be impressed with what he's been doing. He's been a top 12-ish rookie this season, and he was picked at number 34 overall. And he's 19 years old too. He's one of the youngest players in the league. It doesn't seem like it because he's so mature. People forget how young he is too. Yeah, I'm just really impressed with Theo, man. And you got to wonder, obviously the Thunder's intention this season, I swear to you, regardless of how it looks, is to get a top 5 pick. But you got to wonder, man, with as good as they've been playing and as good as Theo has looked and all those things, think of this team. They played without George Hill and Hamidou Diallo and Darius Bazley tonight. That's 2 starters and their 6th man. So theoretically, that's 3 of their top 6. Theoretically, if you really wanted to go there, Trevor Ariza could be playing on this team. I mean, you could be adding, to tonight's team, George Hill, Hamidou Diallo, Darius Bazley, and Trevor Ariza. That's probably better than the Warriors and, getting into the play-in tournament at this point.
It's crazy. They're 3 games out of the play-in, and they're now closer to that play-in than they are those bottom 3 teams. Houston loses again tonight, just got smashed. And I don't know if you've seen it. You've probably been tied up. They've announced PJ Tucker will be away from the team until they find a trade partner for PJ Tucker. So another front court guy that they won't have. Who knows if that'll be a good thing or a bad team to not have a guy that doesn't want to be there. We saw them get a little burst after James Harden left. So, but yeah, the Rockets are doing the most when it comes to tanking right now. They can't get to 90 points. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. This team, this Houston team the good news is, even if they end up with the worst record in the league, the Thunder still have a 48% chance of getting a top 5 pick. That's pretty good. I mean,
It's real good.
It's basically a coin flip. Now, the other side of that means there's a 52% chance that they end up with the Miami Heat pick, which is getting worse and worse by the day. And it looks like it's going to be in the 20s for sure. So, yeah, draft lottery night is going to be a huge night for the future of the Thunder and the Rockets. The other bummer part about that is, if the Rockets keep tanking like this, that takes away one more spot that the Thunder could possibly move up. They're so far back of them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they could still make up the ground. Christian Wood comes back. If they don't trade Oladipo and John Wall, those guys have some pride and they may try really winning. So it's still feasible that the Thunder could pass them up. But some major changes are going to have to happen. I think a lot of people expected, myself included, that some changes would happen over the All-Star break, and not a single trade went down over the week off. And so now it's like, man, no big changes are going to happen until March 25th. And so it's kind of status quo until then. And that's, you got to wonder how many games back of a top 3 spot in the draft are the Thunder going to be at that point, and where are the Rockets going to be?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the next couple weeks, and then the next couple months are going to be absolutely massive when it comes to what the draft lottery night will look like. Back to the game, we saw a game about a week ago now of Oklahoma City and Dallas, where neither team could hit anything until Dallas kind of hit a couple shots that put the separation they needed between them. Oklahoma City shot so well tonight from everywhere, but the 3-point line, they shoot 50%, 16 of 32 from 3 tonight. They got 4 from Al Horford, 4 of 5, 2 of 6 from Poku, 4 of 7 from Dort, 57.1%. Shai went 1 of 5, Maladon went 3 of 4. Roby hit 1, Ty Jerome hit 1. Like, they were awesome. The starting lineup didn't miss a free throw. They were really, really efficient tonight. Just awesome.
Yeah, they really were. The Thunder scoring was just phenomenal. It was night and day from when they played the Mavs 8 days ago. Just 8 days ago, the Thunder had their worst offensive showing of the entire season against this Mavs team. You add Poku, boom.
All we needed. All right, so Oklahoma City gets a good 8-point win tonight against Dallas. They've actually got an interesting schedule coming up. I don't know if you've seen this. Saturday, 1 p.m. Central Time start. Sunday, 1 p.m. Central start. So 2 straight afternoon games on a back-to-back. That's against the Knicks and the Grizzlies. And then they get Monday off and then play at Chicago. They go get to see Billy Donovan. So interesting schedule coming up. One thing I did want to talk about tonight was the fact that a year ago tonight, in the same arena you were in tonight, the NBA shut down. Like this time, exactly at this hour last year, the NBA had suspended its season. In what will eventually go down as probably the strangest night in league history, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think so. I think it'll go down as one of the more historic nights, in league history. And Oklahoma City was the center of it all. Oklahoma City was the center of basically COVID's arrival for all intents and purposes, because this is when things got real in America, in the United States. That was the night. I mean, I think that was the night that everything changed. And it was OKC versus Jazz. So I think back to that night, and I think we all have so many vivid memories. I'm just going to share a small little anecdote. I personally felt really bad because I'd given away tickets to that night. I'd given away 2 pair of tickets, and I just remember feeling so bad that the people I gave the tickets away to went to a game that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, man, they're going to be able to tell people, they're going to be able to tell their grandchildren, I was at like the most historic NBA night of all time, son.
Yeah. And you're dead on. Like, I mean, there were cases in the United States up like before that, but like you're saying, that night it became very real for everyone. It was no longer something that even if you wanted to ignore it or try and think that it wasn't a thing, like it was legitimately here that night. Like everyone was very aware of it. It was now directly affecting uh, people's everyday. And the next day they cancel March Madness, like not postpone it. They just said we're not having it this year. There wasn't
Yeah.
another live sporting event until around mid-June, I think, when golf came back. Like it was such a like a turning point, in the entire, obviously in the sports landscape. It changed everything. Like every league that was going had to take a step back and either postpone or shut things down for a huge amount of time, which then stoked this nationwide lockdown. Like it was an unprecedented time for
Yeah.
just about everybody that lived through it. It's just crazy to look back on, to think that it's been exactly a year, and basketball was back in that same room. There was an interesting element to tonight's game that I didn't want to go through a whole podcast without at least mentioning.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you did. It's a strange anniversary because there's been so many songs, so many people lost due to this virus, and that was kind of the beginning of it here in our state and our country. But now we're kind of on the other side of this thing where the cases are so far down, and vaccinations, and kind of some sense of normalcy and light at the end of the tunnel. So it's been kind of this this full process from beginning, middle to seeing the end, and kind of the hope here at the end. So it's nice that a year later, instead of still being kind of in the middle of this thing, or not knowing if this thing can be beat, that we're so close to I don't want to say beating it or whatever, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
there's a definite sense of light at the end of the tunnel happening here.
no question. There is definitely a sense of hope that was not. I mean, this time last year was just all an unknown, and
Yeah.
so confusing and scary. So to be in such a different place a year later is very encouraging. What was it like at the arena tonight? Did they? I think I saw a couple people posting about some things that everybody got when they got there. Like maybe a message from the Thunder.
Yeah, you want to know what? I showed up a little bit late. I mean, I got there before tip off, but
Right.
most of the media there is really early because this is like their full-time job, and so like they're there like in their seats early. I had to do this and another job, so I'm getting there at like 6:57, or actually tonight was a late game, so it was like 7:57.
Yeah.
Trying to sneak in right before the national anthem and the prayer. So I guess I missed my my cookie and personal note from the Thunder. So
Well,
it's kind of like
maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. But no, I saw the other people. I'm sure I could have asked and they would have given it to me. It was my fault for getting there late. But I saw the other media people with them, and it was a really, really cool gesture. I will say though that they had set out, even when you came in, for everybody, they did have set out like some extra special treats, like some cookies and some candy bars and chips and things like that, and with a note that said thank you and all that stuff. But I didn't get the personal one. But yeah, the Thunder organization are just first class all the way around with how they treat, not only their fans, but then the media as well. And since I'm both, they treat me doubly as well. So it's pretty great.
They are top shelf, no question. All right. We are going to wrap it up there. We will be back on Saturday. The episode will probably be in your feeds, that late afternoon. So be looking for that, and we'll be back same schedule as well on Sunday. So Brandon, thanks so much for joining me, man.
All right, absolutely, Ryan. Have a good night, man.
All right, Thunder fans, thanks for listening. This is the Daily Thunder Podcast.